our 100th episode of the Outlaw Blitz podcast. Big fella, let's get dangerous.
With the original entrance music.
Yo, not for nothing, bro. Goosebumps.
Yeah, right?
Goosebumps.
It's funny to see quality-wise how far we've come.
I think that would have been money if we just had this board then.
Right.
That was awesome. I'm like, I was getting into it. I'm like, that's a pretty good intro.
It was a good intro.
That was all before we ever started ever. I created that I bunched all that together and made it before we even started. That's what we opened our first show ever to.
That music has been, if you're on YouTube a lot, that it's a free download. The actual music
it's
itself
a royalty free. Yep,
it's been used on so many different podcasts. So every time you hear it, I think of us immediately. But
well, you know what it is? It's got a decent beat to it.
You got Bob Uecker, you got Keanu Reeves, you got all the quotes on all the shit we love. So yeah, man,
you got Jake Taylor saying, "All right, Ricky, let's get nasty."
That's right. Hold me here.
Yep. Pretty awesome, man. So. Yeah. I was sitting here just trying to think about where do you go for the 100th episode?
First, I do this.
Go right up to the camera. Oh, well, Winnie's got a full grill again.
Full grill.
So on episode 1 you did, and on episode 100 you did.
The funniest shit happened.
Some in between you did not.
Correct. On the way up this morning, I stopped to get you the sandwich to review. And I got a piece of their pumpkin bread, which is excellent.
Yep.
But it's so fucking like battery and gummy and gooey. It pulled my teeth out. Oh. So I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I just take them out. We got to reposition. I mean, they go in and out like no problem now. I'm just still getting used to.
You were saying your F's a little funny last week.
S's still is a little rough. And I'm still not really comfortable eating with them in. So, I mean, if I'm out in public, I do, obviously. But at home, nah.
Like, can you chew like pizza or wings on that side? I mean, you probably can. You're just getting used to it.
Yeah, because there's that piece of whatever it's made of against the palate of your mouth. It's like, it feels weird.
So what you're saying is you can't eat a caramel apple because it'll...
That's not going to happen. No, sir. No, the closest will be the coffee I reviewed today. That's about it.
Oh, nice.
But how's the week?
Pretty good week. Spent a lot of time with my son. Football started now, so as long as I get out of work on time, I pick him up, whatever. So we get that like 10, 15 minutes just to kind of decompress, talk about our day, see how he's doing, how school is. School started.
Yeah.
You get the how's school boring. Then you talk to him and he's like, oh, and Marco's in this class and this one's in that class. And then I went to technology and Tyler's in there. And he goes, I walk in and we don't know our schedules.
Right.
He goes, I walk into class and Tyler's sitting there and he goes, what'd you do? Get dumb or something?
That's funny. It didn't sound that boring though.
No, it didn't. And I tried telling him, yo, I'm sick.
I'm sick. Dr.
This floor is a little bit unlevel, so I just start. If you see me, just go away. Yesterday,
he'll be back.
Yesterday, doing the video check to get this ready.
Yeah,
I sat in your chair and crashed into the table. Bang. So I got to get my wheel chuck out. I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. Here's my wheel chuck. All right.
You get you one of the NASCAR ones with the fucking pull string.
Yeah, I just got to kind of get my wheel chuck set. Not a bad week though. Yeah, the rhythm of the world is back good again.
It will be perfect starting this week. No more half days or.
Yeah, no, they went full. They went full right off the jump.
Yeah. That's good.
So yeah, it was a good week. What did I do? I did something this week. Oh, we went to the Lord's Kingston game.
Yeah.
Friday night, and I'll tell you, Lord's travels well. You get to Dietz probably like 20 minutes before halftime.
Yeah.
Halftime kickoff. Place is packed, and I mean packed. Lord's people are out there tailgating, playing fucking cornhole, chilling. It looked like
at Dietz.
It looked like a Lord's home game.
That's awesome.
At Dietz. It was crazy.
That's cool.
And then they mollywopped. Absolutely dragged them 40-0. So.
That's the difference between the program.
Yeah. and a team.
And a team.
And Kingston's trying to build a team, but
They are, but they've had so much
turnover
in
over years.
The last 10 years, it seems like there's been a new guy at the helm every year.
That kind of seems like that's how Section 9 is. I mean, like here we have, 3 or 4 head coaches in the last 5 years.
Right.
We didn't do the spring season, and that I feel like not doing the spring season that couple years ago set everything back because kids found other interest. And it was like, hey, we're not going to put a team out there. And kids were like, well, you're not going to do that for me. Then I'm going to go find something else to do.
Right.
And it hurts. It hurts for teams like that. New Paltz and Saugerties were both cruising. And neither one had a team. New Paltz barely fields a team. Saugerties is in the tank, man. They're just not doing well.
It's just, you said that not having that spring league, those games.
That 1 year, the COVID year.
You take a kid who was really mid-development, just starting to get it. You took it away now for over a calendar year.
Yeah.
If the interest is still there, the momentum they had is long gone.
Long gone.
So you're almost starting over again.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It really is.
And then with the removal of JV football, it takes a whole level away. So you got a whole bunch of kids that should be playing a higher level that are going to be bored, and then you got a group of kids that should be still on JV getting fine-tuning their bodies.
Right.
Their bodies are just starting to grow. Their time in the game, the speed of the game is changing. Now they're stuck on varsity. I get why they did it because we never really have full numbers.
How many 140-pound kids do we have?
A bunch.
Yeah, and I mean...
But it's not like we're outsized by these other schools because we're not. It's just even Kingston, Lords had 30 kids on the team, maybe 28. Kingston had a lot more than that. Was probably a little bit bigger than them, but it's program.
Is that their travel squad, or is that just what they have?
That's what they have. They thought they were going to wear out with numbers.
It just doesn't work that way.
It didn't pan out. Certain teams conditions.
And that's why I always go back to Larry.
And they play the double wing.
Right.
Tight, too. And guess what? Their quarterback threw for probably 150-ish. Between one, I would say if I was going to bet on it, I'd say between 125 and 180 for 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Because they do what they do very well. And they make you make mistakes when that one time you don't fill your gap.
Right.
Zoop.
That's the proof of 5 plays run expertly.
Right.
Will destroy a playbook that is not run at all.
Well, it's Army. That's how Army can hang, or Navy, or Georgia Tech. That's how you hang with a lot bigger programs.
I mean, if you remember when we were seniors, until we called up JV kids for the section,
right,
we had 23 players.
Right.
But we were 23 in condition.
I think it was 22.
It might have been 22.
Or 21, because I remember there was a newspaper article that said the tough 21 are
that was
making
Sawyer Magic. That was the coolest article. I wish I could find that thing.
Was it in the Post-Star or the Freeman?
It was the Freeman.
So I bet you if you go to the library, around the time frame,
I've got it narrowed down to a 2 or 3 week span. I'm gonna have to do that.
Right, it would be November of '93.
Pull out the old microfiche.
Yeah.
With the
Red Star Player of the Week.
But you could not.
We were a program back then.
You couldn't gas us.
Right.
We were that in shape. So.
Well, look at how many years when we coached.
Right now we're in shape. It's round.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but look how many years when we coached football. We weren't always the best team. We didn't even have the most talent.
Right.
But we would hang long enough for mistakes to start happening because teams weren't as in shape.
Yeah.
And when you're not in shape, you start making mental mistakes because you're tired.
Mistakes build momentum.
Yeah.
And that's what would happen.
And that would we never won in these big flashy, scores. I mean, there's times where we steamrolled, but
we had dominant.
I'm saying there's times that we won where we weren't the most talented team.
Right. I totally agree with that.
But today is the return of, 2 things. One, it's the 21st anniversary of 9/11 that we're recording on.
Yeah.
How quickly we've forgotten it. 20 years ago, we were like this as a country, and now I don't. It's pretty crazy how far apart we are.
Program and team.
Right. Yep, we were a program together back then, and now it's all these individual teams.
Yeah, remember because there's an M and an E in team.
Yeah, yep. And it is also the return of the NFL season.
Yes.
On our recording, we're trying to do away with the popping and the clipping of the audio. We think we have it figured out, but we're not going to be able to play our sounds through.
Right.
So you'll just see us sitting here like two dummies, and then we'll come back with the sound.
Hey.
Yeah, so the NFL Sunday, full slate of games.
I did something last night that I wanted to do for a long time now. I got tickets, me, Max, and Chris. Never gone to a pro game together.
Okay.
December 18th. It's going to be cold.
Yeah, that's your weather, though. You'll have a towel around
I
your neck.
will. That's why I always stay warm. Jets Lions. So.
Please, zip your youngest kid up in a jacket because he'll be the dick in full Lions gear in the middle of Jets Nation.
Hang on.
You're gonna set this
the last message I sent him last night.
Don't be an asshole.
You wearing Lions gear in heel fashion? And the answer was maybe. He probably will.
But the problem is, Highland, these dudes don't fuck around. They really don't. You get New York fans next to Philly fans, they will smash the shit.
The only thing is he'll have me and his brother as bookends.
Yeah, and I get it. You guys are big, but you're not like beer bottle over the head. You're not
right.
And he is a needler.
I did the smart thing. No, we got two sizable guys.
You got 4 seats?
I sure as fuck did.
Yeah,
in their aisle 1 through 4.
Yeah, good.
And actually, reasonable, $60 something a ticket.
No, that's not bad.
No, it's you have the downstairs, the ones that are field. Then you got that little walkway.
Yep.
And then that small
that
section.
200 section, whatever.
That's where we are.
Nice.
End zone. So.
Dude, not for nothing. Football is better watched higher up because you can see it all
play out.
The
whole thing developed.
Yeah. Although I liked where I sat in Syracuse too.
Listen, it's when you're there, you're immersed in it. It's awesome.
Yeah. And by the way, Syracuse rolled yesterday.
Again.
They blew out UConn. See, when people shit on college football and they go, oh, it's all these blowouts. Did you happen to see the Texas-Alabama game?
I will make sure.
Right to the wire.
I will make sure next week, Saturday, 6 days from now.
Oh, yeah.
That I will go live on the Outlaw Blitz feed from Coastal.
Nice. When you're sweating your balls
off.
You just got to hope it's not raining or something.
Right.
You know? But college football to me is just different. You just got so much more spirit.
Yeah.
But the NFL is back. That's what we're all there for.
And looking at the schedule, we've done it. It's been a couple of years now, but I want to get back to it this year. We got to pull a Marist game.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a specific Marist game I want to go to because the coach keeps reaching out to Boston.
Okay.
On the app there, the thing.
Okay.
So I told him you need to email that coach and say, hey, they play in Marist this year. So, and I said, you just reach out to that coach and say, hey, I'm coming. Just to at least get a read on how the guy is as a person and what the program is.
Not San Diego.
University of St. Thomas. It's in Minnesota.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
But this guy was 3-time Division III National Division III Coach of the Year.
That's awesome.
3-time. Moved to that school. They were Division II, and now they're Division I, FCS. Wow. And I said, I tried to explain to him, I'm like, but if you're on somebody like that's radar, the reality being he went from Division III, 3-time Coach of the Year, took a Division II team, now the Division I.
Right.
He's stopping in the pros or a bigger program.
Sure.
So if he takes a liking to you now and ends up at Tennessee or Kentucky or Marshall or somewhere.
Boise State.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's you want that. So, that's the game I want to go to. And it's like mid-October. Perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely. Perfect for what we want,
I like the night games there, but
they're so rare.
They are rare.
Yeah, they're so rare.
But the daytime ones, we get down there early, tailgate.
Yeah, make a day of it, man.
Watch the kicker kick fucking balls over the scissor lift
into the parking lot.
Who was Jason Meyer?
It was Jason Meyer, yeah. That's where we figured out that college tailgating is different.
Yeah.
The pros, you do it before the game. At Marist, remember, all the players and everybody came out. They had fucking 30 packs. They were all in the parking lot where we were.
It was great.
Yeah, just hanging and playing. So, it was a pretty good week. But we're back to this now. This is our 100th episode.
Right.
I mean, we put out more with interviews and stuff, but this is our
the
100th episode.
Our weekly episodic
100th episode.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and before we go any further, big ups to Denmark. Thank you, Denmark.
Yeah.
Listen, over 2 weeks now, we've been as high as 40, haven't left our top 200. So thank you guys. I mean, if what we're doing makes you laugh, that's the goal. And tell all your friends. We want to be as big as we can be. But I just thought it was wild.
It makes me wonder if it's gold member because I go spinning out of the chair and then spinning. Maybe it's gold member with his.
I'm going to be sick.
Oh, that's a good one. Remember, he was
so nasty.
He was like from Denmark or so, wasn't he? Want to smoke in a pancake?
Oh my god!
Bong in a blitz. All right, so let's get into our. Oh, I'm not prepared there. Hold on, let's see. Here we go. This week's top five TV shows with 100 plus episodes. Episodic TV shows.
Yes.
Not daytime and not series. I didn't do series either.
I have
a slew of honorable mentions, but I think we should do them at the end.
Okay, I have 4. But yeah, let's start number 5. My number 5 coming in at 205 episodes, All in the Family.
Oh, nice. That's Archie Bunker.
Archie Bunker.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine him today?
No, sir.
I would just how his spin on things today would be phenomenal.
Oh, hysterical! But that I think that's why it made my list. It's something that it's really a timepiece. It fits that era so well. You couldn't do it today. But he covered so many sensitive topics through.
And as gruff as he was, he still did it in a way that was heartfelt and not
absolutely
not. Like people thought he was like a bigot or this or that, but he ultimately wasn't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He was gruff. He was forward.
Meathead.
He was gruff. He was in your face, but he was truthful.
Yes.
And everything he said was from the heart. So.
Yeah, and I think people took themselves so much less seriously.
Right.
People didn't play victim back then. I think was the key there. My number 5, Coach.
Coach Ernie Pan?
No, Coach Hayden Fox.
That's Hayden Fox. And Ernie Pan too, so was Cheers.
Yeah, so Coach, I watched so many of that with my parents. Like, these kids today don't understand. You didn't have TV to go when you're 12, 13, 14 years old or whatever. Yeah. Whatever your parents watched, you watched.
Yeah.
But it was Coach and Luther, and it was just funny. I still watch Coach today.
It's stuff.
It's on Roku TV's thing.
Luckily, I would say a show that. And I should have looked to see if they had 100 episodes, but I don't think they did. Was the Hulk when it was Lou Ferrigno?
Oh yeah,
that was a weekly sit down with my grandparents and watch show.
Right, and then it's just
comes on now. Yeah, you get the memories.
Yep.
Number 4, coming in at 256 episodes. It's made my list because of things you've shown me. MASH.
Okay, it's one more above on my list. That'll be my number 3. And I watched that. You hear he listened to it at a volume. That was the helicopters landed on our roof. Oh yeah, we were there. I got PTSD from it. Yeah, I got PTSD from
the show.
From the show. That's my number 3. But my number 4, WWE Monday Night Raw.
Yeah,
It's an episodic. It's only once a week.
It is,
and it's been on probably like 1,000.
Yeah, Raw 1000 was like in 19. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, 2000.
Was it like 2015 or 2016?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's always, and here's where I say it's not daily like a soap opera. That's why I didn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why I put it on the list. For the years I watched wrestling, and then I went away, and then I came back, and it's still there for me. So for that reason, that's why I had to make my list.
Yeah, I'm being the wrestling fan as I am. I didn't even dawn on me. So your number 3, you had a MASH.
MASH, yeah.
My number 3, 275 episodes, and an all-time favorite, Cheers.
Cheers is that's somewhere else, not on my list, but not on my main list,
right.
But it's on there. Yeah, I mean, it's one of them deals, you know. It's you grow with these people for so long, and they kind of bring you through certain parts of your life, you know.
Ted Danson, you watched Woody Harrelson grow.
Grow up. from a young actor kid that was goofy to
the Woody Harrelson we have now.
Yeah, yep.
Shelley Long.
Well, maybe not now.
Frasier.
Yeah, and then Frasier spun off.
The newest. I mean, the stars that were on that show.
Right.
And every Norm joke is the best. My favorite to this day. What are you up to, Norm? My ideal weight if I was 7'10".
Yeah. You've used that on this show. Yeah. Yep.
So you had your 3.
3 was MASH. 2.
Coming in at 180 episodes, Seinfeld.
That's my number 2 also.
All right.
No soup for you.
No soup for you. And truth be told, was not a fan until it was in syndication.
I just remember watching it later. Like that, I would go to bed and watch it like almost every night before work. I mean, we're talking late 90s. Right. It was still going, but you know what I mean? It wasn't like every whatever night it was. Thursday night at 9 o'clock. And, maybe the last season or so, but syndication, I watch them all the time.
Yeah.
And when it was on Netflix, like I can rip through like a couple hours of Seinfeld, like while I'm doing work on this stuff. And it's still funny.
It's
still funny today.
And those 4 people together.
Right. Could you imagine if like that's where casting really mattered.
I couldn't see it any other way at this point.
Remember when they had the fake group that hung around Elaine?
Yes.
The fake George, the fake Kramer, and all of them. And they were like pretty close knockoffs.
But
they're not. It's not the same. Like George Costanza can only be Jason Alexander.
Correct.
There's no other way. And Kramer can only be Michael Richardson.
Right.
Michael
Richards.
Richards, yeah. Yep. That's just the way it is. And Elaine can only be
Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
Who has gotten hotter as she's gotten older.
Yeah.
Smoking hot.
She's gotten she's like a fine wine. She's gotten like pretty. She was pretty, but she wasn't hot. You gotta remember.
Right.
Back then you had Friends. And you had Jennifer Aniston, smoking hot. Courtney Love, big cans.
Courtney Cox.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Courtney Cox, big cans, like the hot
Lisa
darker.
Kudrow was the odd one in the.
Yeah, well, she was like the hippie, goofy one. Anyway, but what I'm saying is those girls were hot.
They were like our.
And she was kind of plain Jane-ish.
Right.
And as they've gone, I mean, Jennifer Aniston's still hot.
She looks the same.
But, Elaine, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, she's
gotten older.
Stayed pretty.
Yep, I totally agree. Number 1, and we just hinted on a bunch of the characters there. 236 episodes, Friends.
I can't fault you. Mine's obviously not that.
That was my weekly.
That's on my honorable mention after.
I could say, that was my weekly, and that was married, either dating and then married to Christina. Chris was small. That was Thursday night thing. Friends was every Thursday, and then followed by ER. So
right, yeah. I mean, and that's it. We grew up on that show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, literally
grew up on that show. So I can't fault you. But when I thought of this list, I thought of like my 5, as opposed to the best 5.
Right.
It was like my 5. My number 1, Big Bang Theory.
Yeah,
I came in on the ground floor when people weren't too sure of it, and they're like, a show about nerds. But if you watch how the characters develop and then how it finally ends, it's the most perfect show. Like that's how it evolves to where it finishes.
Friends for this group, for this age group.
It is.
It's perfect. And again, people that Mayim Bialik.
Yeah.
Hatteras Blossom when we were teenagers.
Right, yep.
Johnny Galecki.
Johnny Galecki, who was in Roseanne.
In Roseanne, yep.
Yeah.
And also I think he was one of the movies for National Lampoon's.
Christmas Vacation.
Right.
Yeah. You see him and you come back, and then like Penny was in 10 Simple Rules to Dating My Teenage Daughter. Yeah. Penny. And then what's funny is that spun off Young Sheldon, which is a number 1 show now, and you find out why he knocks 3 times. Do you know why?
I don't.
He walked in on his mom having sex with the pastor.
Oh, Jesus.
So that's why he knocks now.
So he's like those were the ones that attached us to a time past, and he's the one that kind of grabbed the show and took it
right
to
in
the present and future.
Yep.
So
Yep.
No, great show, great choice.
And that was it, like 100 episodes. No, there's obviously other ones out there.
Yeah.
I go ahead. What's your honorable mentions?
I got The Simpsons at 728 and counting.
I have The Simpsons as well. My honorable mention.
I have Family Guy at 380.
That's my next exact one, bro.
389 and counting.
Now, Family Guy probably, if there's a show that should have made my list for some reason, Family Guy should have been on there probably.
Right.
And the reason being, like when I went through a divorce,
We watched it and laughed our asses off.
That was only thing that kept me out of a dark hole.
Right.
Was Family Guy.
Also for me was a personal one. Beverly Hills 90210 at 293.
Okay.
And The Office at 201.
I've never watched Office.
Steve Carell.
I've seen skits of it.
It's a different type of humor.
Yeah.
If you like Steve Carell, if you like,
but now that it's all done, I could watch the whole thing.
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah.
But like I've never sat and watched a whole episode. I've seen them on like TikTok or YouTube or whatever. But
honestly, that's the one thing that streaming media and Netflix and Roku or not Roku, Hulu has ruined for me is needing to watch the show on the night it comes out.
Yeah.
I'd rather binge watching is fucking awful.
Because then you're left wanting more.
Yeah, because dude, every time the new fucking Cobra Kai comes out,
yeah, you're done in 3 days. You're like, God damn it!
I gotta wait another 2 years now for more. Like, dude, I've been waiting over.
Wait, Cobra Kai comes out
this month,
or did it come out?
Oh boy, don't tell me that.
I think it may have. Did it come out September 9th?
Oh,
did it come out Friday and we just don't know?
Don't tell me that. I don't know, but
it might have, bro.
Oh shit! And the other thing was
I don't know.
Outer Banks.
Yeah.
I've been waiting over 2 years.
Yeah.
But COVID stopped their filming. So now they're getting caught up and they're still in
Stranger Things.
Right.
You know, and stuff like that. So I get it.
But yeah, man, these are shows that shaped us like the first 100 episodes has shaped us as well.
Or people that listen to us.
Yeah.
You know? The couple I have on there, Married with Children.
Oh my God. Total oversight.
Home Improvement.
Yep.
Tim the Toolman Taylor. Years of watching that guy.
Right.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
The
dad and the
was never a big fan, but I have watched it.
Yeah, like maybe it's a part in your life. Like now you'll understand it a lot more. You know what I mean?
Brad, what's his name? The big guy. With the deep voice.
Is it Brad Garrett?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hysterical.
Yeah. He did the Hulk Hogan voice on Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestle in the cartoon.
Back in the 80s?
Yeah, he did Hulk Hogan's voice.
Really?
Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Yep. And my last one was Friends.
Okay.
So, I mean, a good list.
Excellent list.
Lots in there. And, like, MASH is a throwback to, like, the 70s and 80s. Seinfeld 90s, Big Bang is now. Well, just finished is now. Coach was a 90s thing. Monday Night Raw is 93 through current. So, Simpsons was 80s. When we were like 11, 87.
That stretches the farthest back.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't count them, but think of how amazing it is for a show like, I believe they're still on, like Days of Our Lives, who started.
Oh, they are. They're still on.
Started in the 60s.
Yep.
And haven't, other than, I'm sure during COVID they shut down filming. But other than that, that's a blip in time over the last 50 years or 60 years they've been on television.
For some reason, I had almost willingly bet that they still got shows off. Because they probably taped because it's so long, you probably tape 2 or 3 episodes in a day or something like that. Because when do you really have an off season? It doesn't come back. They go or you know they run season 65 until 66 starts or whatever. You know what I mean?
The funny thing is, people say typecast.
Yeah.
If anybody ever gets typecast, it's those actors and actresses because they play the same role for decades.
Well, here's the thing. You know I like Blue Mountain State, right?
Right.
I didn't know, and I don't know if you knew this, Alex Moran, the quarterback, came from like one of those shows.
Really?
One of them daytime soap operas.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't remember.
There's been breakouts over the years. John Stamos was one.
Yeah.
Kelly Ripa.
Yep.
Another one. But for overall, it's like once they're in those shows, they just kind of stay.
Yeah, but
And then it's almost like trades in Major League Baseball. You'll see this actor pop up on this soap.
Yeah.
And this contract
Santa
wobbles,
Barbara
so
or
they
some
go
shit,
back.
right?
Yeah, it's weird shit.
Yeah. But yeah, they never meet. Like, there's never a crossover
Right.
episode over 60 years or whatever.
That's, like all these mythical towns. And you can make up the whole map with all these mythical towns from fucking soaps.
And they're always in California on the coast.
Yeah.
Everybody's got all kinds of money. One that probably I should add to my thing, 2.5 Men on my honorable mention.
Yeah. 2 completely different shows.
Oh, my God.
Wrapped into one.
Yeah.
When you look at the cat, when you have Charlie Sheen and then Kutcher.
Yeah.
2 completely different shows, but
the Charlie Sheen shit was amazing.
Way better.
Though. It was so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was a good thing.
Yep.
Now you have questions, right?
I do.
All right, let's see. All right. This week's 5 crazy questions via
Zach.
Zach comes through the 5 crazy questions.
He does. And shout out to Zach. I hope you're watching. Feel better, bud. COVID right now.
Yeah, he's got COVID, yep.
He said he was in a different place when he wrote these. They're more introspective than crazy.
Okay.
I think
it is what it is.
I think it fits the 100 episode bill, which is fine.
Good.
And the thing you sent me this morning with Aaron Rodgers was fucking hysterical.
Was that not whole?
I am shitting on the toilet and laughing at the same time.
It's just going.
Oh yeah, it was like a goat. It was awesome. So
that's awesome.
Zach did say, "You will have to forgive me, as they aren't exactly crazy, but more about introspection and you as people." Also, I also think I have COVID, so I'm fucking struggling to be funny. Yeah. Zach, I don't think you can ever struggle to be funny.
Zach's a deep thinker, but he's also
hysterical
and unintentionally hysterical.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
So, number 1, if you could go back to episode 1 and give yourself advice, what would that advice be? Show related or life related?
Episode 1, pretty simple. Buy the best equipment before you start. Because I think episode 1 on this equipment would have gained us 5 to 10. I think we may have made it by now.
Because the
energy of that
gritty.
The energy of that day was bananas, if you recall.
Mm-hmm.
It was like we laughed for an hour and a half after it was done.
Right.
When we listened back. I mean, laughed like our cheeks hurt, we were crying, our ribs hurt, remember?
Was that Vlad?
That was the boing.
Yeah. That was Vlad Guerrero.
The Thor's hammer, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it birthed this whole thing, and we had nothing. We had nothing written down.
Right.
Like we thought it was going to be something else, and it just became something completely unexpected.
Right.
In that moment, we were so in that moment, like the electric was flying that day.
When we originally, like months before, talked about doing the podcast, we had talked about doing it on youth sports or sports related, and it went so in another direction. Thank God.
It did.
Number 2. What is something you made fun of as a teenager that you actually enjoy in adulthood?
Oh, you got anything that comes to mind?
Man, I don't know about making fun of.
His is the Dallas Cowboys. He's a Cowboy fan now. He's a Redskins fan.
Really?
So like, yeah.
No shit. Making fun of.
You probably made fun of like pop shoes, but you realize how comfortable they are now. I ain't wearing them fucking things. I mean, I still don't, but like, you realize like comfortable shoes are more important than how they look.
You know what? Probably, and definitely more as I've gotten to be an adult, and especially after doing our normal lives during the week, taking a nap.
I was always a napper, bro.
Yeah, and I say I wasn't. Dude, I am so 100%. I am a 180 from teenager to now. As far as I was I was up at fucking 6 every day.
Yeah.
And now it's like, nope, I need my fucking nap.
Yeah, probably comfortable. It's things that are comfortable.
Right.
Being fat. I wasn't fat. So like I would make fun of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be like a little chubby. I wasn't like bone thin.
Right.
But I mean, I've said this to you. If I just if I look better in pictures and my clothes fit better, I don't mind. I like food.
Right.
I really do.
Right.
I enjoy it. Like it's a comfort thing for me. So I've gotten a lot bigger, but I hate like how fat I am.
The face.
Like I hate like you know what I mean? Like if I don't know, if I could just hold it better, I don't hold it well.
The big difference now, and people, you're like, yeah. Well, when you get older, when you get older and you're fucking big.
How many times are you gonna say when you get older? You stuttering over there?
No, just thinking about it. Everything fucking hurts.
It really does.
So much more.
Shit, you put your body through when you're younger. Don't realize like you can see that on the thing. Like the amount of baseballs I've thrown over my life and all these things. Eventually, this was an injury from something that happened at work.
Sure.
But the amount of stuff that goes on in there, that they're like, Jesus, your elbow looked like it was 20 years older than what it was.
You've seen the X-rays of both of my knees.
Yeah.
They're not knees. They're fucking bones just grinding together.
They're like hip.
They're bad. Yeah. So that was number 2. Number 3. You can Freaky Friday with one of your kids for 24 hours. Who are you swapping with, and what are you doing?
Now, clarify that just for idiots that are listening. That means where you just switch ages.
Right.
Oh, easily my son. Easily. Because and for one simple reason. All the shit like you tell him for what did you say, one afternoon or 1 week? What was it? 1 week or one afternoon?
24 hours.
24 hours. Just them waking up in your body, how sore your knees are and your shoulders and your hips. And then sending them off to your job while you go to high school for one day.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Right.
Like, this is something I never thought of when I was younger. How awesome would it feel to wake up and feel like you're 14 again? Like, just get up and, you sneeze and your back doesn't hurt for some weird reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, because you sat wrong, you don't get a calf cramp. Just weird shit, right?
Every time you walk down a step, it doesn't sound like sound check somewhere.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like just body wise.
Yeah.
Like what would it do?
I would say because it's the complete opposite. I would have to say Max because Chris is me.
Yeah.
Max is fucking rail thin. I've never ever in
You've
my
never
life
been a small thin kid. Yeah.
No. So yeah, I would go with Max.
All right.
What would you do for the day?
I would just live like a teenager lived. You know what I mean? Like I'd go to school. All his friends, I would abuse. All his friends, I would fuck them up for a day. Like all just messing.
Yeah.
Like the kids, they're all good kids. But man, would I needle the shit out of them for a day? You know what I mean? Like you know all them kids. You know all them kids. They're all funny, great kids.
Oh yeah.
But man, it'd be shot taking. I'd do that, and I'd probably handle some shit that I think he should handle that he hasn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? There'd probably be a person or two that would be told off.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two punches thrown.
Throttled.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But then other than that, I would try to just live the day. But I'd want a portion of the day to be with him in my body after a day of work.
Yeah.
Being like, like the ultimate goal would be when you switch back for them to have drive to never be
to appreciate. Yeah.
To appreciate
a different level of appreciation.
Right. Yes.
And listen, I think our kids appreciate what we've done for them.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say that. I don't know. I'd probably do some sports shit again that doesn't hurt.
Well, just go flying around the field.
Golf. Yeah. Go fucking throw the football right after it. Shit like
go
that.
for a jog.
Right.
Where you go, I'm not even tired. What is this?
Yeah, what is this? This is crazy.
Yeah, yep.
Number 4. What is more frightening? Being stranded in the middle of the ocean without a boat, just floating, or being deserted on the plains in lion territory?
Ocean.
You can't see. You don't know what's around.
Yeah. And I'm not a water person. You get a leg cramp, you're fucked.
I mean,
on the ground, you're at least you're on the ground. Right.
I love the ocean, but only up to about my waist.
The ocean is a very dangerous place.
Fucking A.
Yeah. We're the dominant species on this planet for a reason. Like,
right.
Because we throw. That's ultimately what separated us.
Yeah.
You pick up a gigantic rock and fucking hammer a lion with it, you might get it to not fuck you up.
Yeah, it might run off.
Right. You're out in the middle of the ocean with your legs kicking on some kind of fucking deserted thing. A shark might bite you in half. Or an orca.
You're not even going to see it coming.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
It's just going to come from like 100 feet below you.
Actually, is that the worst part or the best part?
I don't know, dude.
Well, now, the problem with like a fucking orca,
they're fucking brutal.
Well, dude, think how big they are. They could actually swallow you and you'd be alive in their stomach until you drowned or fucking got digested.
Yeah, or a blue whale or something like that.
Fuck that, dude.
No, it's the ground. Yep.
Number 5. Who is your dream interview for the podcast and why? Must be alive at the time of recording.
Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
Or Tony Romo.
Okay.
Like if I had to pick one, Troy Aikman. You get people that say he's the most overrated player ever and this and that and all kinds of shit. I bet you in a real candid interview, like if he was just completely candid, I bet you there was so much more shit that he had on his plate than you'd ever imagine.
Right.
Like especially like you'd start with the Jimmy Johnson years and then to when Barry Switzer came in and it was a party.
Yeah.
And there was no accountability. So it'd probably be like Troy Aikman. It would definitely be like a sports star.
Wow. I'm glad I got to ask.
And they got to be alive because you knew you were going to say Elvis.
Right.
If it was a person that wasn't alive,
oh, it's Elvis for me.
My dad.
Yeah.
Dude, my dad.
Your dad would be a fucking weekly guest in the show.
He would easily be viral.
That's the ratings getter.
We'd be viral.
We got done with the ratings killer. He'd be the ratings getter.
Yep.
Alive for me. Jeter would be a good one, but
you're never going to get anything out of that guy.
Right.
And and believe me, that's crossed my mind.
Honestly, probably Lisa Marie Presley.
Yep.
The daughter of the, arguably biggest fucking musician entertainer of all time.
Yeah.
And the shit she had. Listen, her childhood obviously was great in some aspects, not great in others.
Yep.
And she lost her father at a young age, so I think it would be a good interview.
Now, selfishly, like I'm staying with Troy Aikman, but selfishly to add to the, if I wanted to add like listeners at a high rate, Conor McGregor.
Oh, it'd be huge.
If he came on here immediately, you got 1 million views. Immediately. And if he says anything remotely off kilter or like he announces he's going to fight Jake Paul or something,
right? Boom,
10 million.
Yeah. I think another one along those lines could possibly be Mike Tyson.
Oh, Tyson would be awesome. But, I mean, he said one. The one is, I would go
Troy.
Okay. And you'd go Lisa Marie, right?
Yes.
All right.
So our introspective, not crazy, but very awesome 5 questions. So
yeah, very good. All right, go to Highland's favorite song. All right, over and under TV show edition. No, not the Wiggles.
I know.
Over and under the TV show edition. This one's we'll see how it shakes out.
Okay.
Number 1, Breaking Bad.
Never watched it. Don't know.
Tried to watch it, thought it sucked. Overrated.
I guess we'll go over that.
Overrated. Like if you never watched it,
right? There's a reason why.
There's a reason why you never got into it. Overrated. Yeah. People went nuts over that show. It's the greatest show ever. Blah blah blah.
I got another one that it'll see if it's on your list or not. But
all right,
we'll wait.
Number 2, The Walking Dead.
That's the one I was going to say.
Super overrated. I tried watching it. Watched maybe like 2 seasons, and I'm like, nope. Don't give a fuck about zombies.
People love that shit.
Went nuts over
Scott loves that show.
Yeah. Well, he masturbates to dressing like, what was it, Deegan or something like that?
Whatever guy's name
Got the
is.
bat, yeah. Number 3, Ozark. And you can't say push.
I know.
You pushed the push button right out.
I know. Underrated until the last episode. Hated the fucking ending.
Okay. Does this change your mind? I read a thing where the writer said, you're thinking the son shot the person?
Okay.
It was really Ruth. She wasn't dead.
Okay. Then I'll go underrated.
I was like, what?
That's like people...
Because they left her laying there, but you
right.
don't know.
You don't know.
You just hear a gunshot and it's dark.
Right. All right. And that... looking at it from that perspective, then I'll say underrated. Yeah.
The first 3 seasons?
Not drop dead, fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. Yep.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
So, yeah, okay. I'll have to go under on that one.
All right, so we're going over. We're going over, under. Okay, Homeland.
Haven't watched it.
Really?
Is that with right? Heard a lot of good things about it, but I haven't seen it.
Well, the problem with some of these are the first 2 are regular TV. Ozark is Netflix.
Yeah.
Homeland, I'll say highly underrated.
Okay.
It's a show about like how our CIA works around the world.
I wondered how
it was a Showtime show.
I wondered how she would be as an adult actor.
Well, she plays a fucking schizo.
Fucking whiny.
Yeah. Well, she still is crazy and whiny, but
okay.
I don't know. You kind of. It's the chick you want to take home, but then you regret.
Get the fuck
and she's
out.
nuts, and she cries every episode. But like how smart her brain is and how things work is pretty crazy. It was a good show. And last but not least, The Wonder Years.
Oh, highly underrated.
Overrated.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I remember trying to watch it, and his brother was kind of a dweeb.
Jason
The blonde,
Murray.
yeah, and the dad always had some kind of political fucking.
But that was the show. I mean, it was.
I know, and outside of Winnie Cooper, I really could have gave a shit.
She was hot.
You know what I mean?
Still
Fred
hot.
Savage was kind of a. I mean, it was so. How do I explain this? In the 80s, right, late 80s.
Okay.
It was telling you what it was like around the Vietnam,
right,
late 60s. So that'd be like. Today, trying to tell you what it was around like 9/11.
Interesting. I would want to watch that because we have our opinions.
Well, because we were older. But if you were a kid, you're kind of like, eh.
We have our opinions on when the world got pussified.
Yeah.
Okay. I honestly, I think that 70s show was huge.
Yeah. Yep.
If there was
they tried it that 80s show.
They did?
Yeah.
It didn't do well?
No.
Same cast or?
No, I don't know, maybe. But I know they tried that 80s show and it just didn't.
All right. I can throw a couple out there for you. ER.
Overrated. You gotta remember, it's preference, right? Like I didn't watch it. I know I can't say it's overrated. Because I don't remember people being like, this is great. Well, maybe they did. All hospital shows, because then it's Chicago Hope and all these other ones spin off.
I would say...
Grey's Anatomy, all that shit.
I would say the first probably 6 to 8 seasons, severely underrated.
Okay.
And then at some point they jumped the shark and stayed on air way too long with a whole different cast.
Yeah.
And it was not.
And that's where it becomes overrated. Like,
right.
You hold on to something that's long gone.
It's like going to watch the 1983 Yankees thinking it's still 78.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just not the same.
Right. Yep.
Happy Days.
I'm going to say under, and I know it ultimately jumped the shark.
That is the original jump the shark.
Right. And that's where the term came from.
Yes. People who don't know, there's an episode where
the Fonz literally jumps a shark, and people went, "We're done.
We're done.
This is ridiculous now."
But now that is looked back upon differently because it's so far in the past.
Because it's a term, though.
Right, and it's like now it's revered. But For the time being, yeah, I would say underrated. I think a lot of shows from that era were very
Well, you had a
underrated.
guy that was cool hanging out with a kid that was not.
Right.
He was the neighbor, and
Yeah.
he kind of brought him along on how to be cool.
You think of how good.
And then look how many spin-offs came off of that show.
And that's the whole thing. You look at how good these shows were, and because they spun off whole other shows, like Archie Bunker spun off the Jeffersons.
Yeah.
And
227 or whatever.
Yeah. Then you had Happy Days spun off Laverne and Shirley and Joni Loves Chachi.
Yeah.
They were just such good shows. People wanted more, just in a different way.
I think Shameless could have done that.
Archie's Place,
yeah,
was great. I wish there were more seasons of it because it was just Archie working at his bar.
Yeah, at the bar. Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, yep.
Shameless totally could have had a lip spin-off.
Or Kevin V.
Yeah.
And that's why I always kept
Or Ian and
they could have really had a spin-off, just not Frank.
Right.
And at the same time, even though she went away, it's what's her name? The
Fiona.
Fiona could have had her own of how she got out of the shit and made it.
Yep. No, totally. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Kevin V, I thought would have been a great show.
Right, when they were going to Atlanta or wherever they were going.
Moving to where her mom had moved to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that could have been its own thing.
Yep. Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean it's those things like what's overrated, what's underrated. So it's depend on a feel, right?
Yeah.
But like I say, ultimately you get where you start getting overrated shows where people do like those first two. I'm like,
when you run the risk of being overexposed, and again, when what's made you so great, which was a cast of X, Y, X, A, B, and C, and now you're up to cast L, M, and N.
Well, that'd be like if Seinfeld or Friends started changing cast members.
Yeah,
completely overrated,
way overrated.
Then
point.
Right, what was highly underrated becomes overrated.
Yeah.
Like whoop,
you're living off the name of something that is no longer.
Yes, right. So, yep, I agree. You want to move on to the rabbit hole for this week. And you told me you had something crazy set up. So, what the hell spurned this whole deal?
Okay, so I got into a conversation with the person we both know.
Yeah.
And came out of nowhere too. Frontal lobotomies.
What the fuck? What are you doing here?
Yeah, so then then I got curious as to how the procedure was done, where it originated from, and if it's still being done anywhere in the world.
And of course, I'm sure it is. And you watch some.
Well, that's the fucked up thing. They don't show any
actual video.
But they show how the procedure's done, and it is fucking twisted, dude. They take it's essentially an ice pick. It's about this long.
Yeah,
I'd say about.
I can see your hands. I'm just trying to figure out. Long.
The way they did it back then was they would place, like pretty much like earmuffs on your head, and they would electrocute you.
Okay.
Until you were unconscious.
Yeah.
Then they would take the fucking ice pick.
No, you're good. You're good.
They would take the ice pick and go right on the inside of your eye.
Oh.
Drive it through, hammer it through the nasal cavity.
Ping, ping.
Yes, with an actual hammer into your nasal cavity, up into your brain. And then they would take the pick and they would just move it back and forth. And sever all the nerve endings in the frontal lobe. And the theory was back then they didn't have the medication we have now for schizophrenia, for basically whatever fucking segment you need. Their theory was they would by disconnecting the nerve pathways, they could alter your behavior. Now there are a handful of successful lobotomies done. Like they showed this one guy who's now in his 70s.
Yeah.
Who is fine, completely fine. Actually went back and they showed like his progression through his adulthood, his adult years, and completely worked for him. Had actually had multiple. And they showed other ones where person was normal when they started out, and then the next picture they showed the guy's like,
oh fuck. Who would even allow that to happen?
And it became a big thing because they did it to one of the Kennedy girls.
Oh, right.
It was one of the sisters.
And they kept her kind of away from it, right?
Right. And what ended up happening with her, they said it became like a complete dulling of the senses. But then as she progressed and got older, she lost the ability to walk. She lost the ability to speak. I mean, it totally fucked her up. Now, they did these procedures up until 1967.
Holy shit.
You would have thought this is like the early 1900s. No, up until 67. And technically, it's still not outlawed in the U.S. They just don't do them. The last doctor, the doctor that created them, was actually going on tour.
And doing them.
And doing them multiple at a time on stage.
You got to figure he had to be... You got to figure he had to be tied to some religious fanatic shit, right?
I don't know.
Don't you think,
it
like,
was crazy.
The demons have been in
and
her.
That's what they were thinking, that would cure the demon. And the reason why it became prevalent and something that people were trying, if you were deemed you were a problem child, we can't cure you, so what do? We send you to an insane asylum. So all these mental health facilities were overrun with people who they couldn't treat. Well, if we do the lobotomy, we can correct their behavior and we can release them back to their families. Maybe they can be productive in society. Yeah, shit did not go down like that.
And you watched this week?
I watched multiple videos on YouTube about it. And people just got straight fucked up.
So that was your lone rabbit hole all week?
Yeah,
you just fell way down in it.
Yeah, way down it. Oh,
way down in the hole.
To the point where I started feeling nauseous. I'm like, I can't watch these anymore. This is terrible.
Well, you're the same dude. We went to a fucking Middle Eastern movie, and you threw up because of the stress of them being captured.
Way too stressed out in that movie.
I can't remember the name of it. No, it wasn't Hurt Locker. It was the one with Jamie Foxx.
It wasn't Black Hawk Down.
No. It wasn't Hurt Locker either. It was one where Jamie Foxx, they go to investigate a bombing, and they end up capturing one of his guys. Right. That I can't remember the name of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember you having to leave the theater because you were all fucked up.
Fucking stressed to the max watching that movie. But to me, that was just like, how barbaric of a fucking procedure. That was allowed until...
It still is technically allowed.
But was being performed. Just until almost we were born.
Yeah. Right.
It blows my mind.
I think history will show that we're probably the biggest... Our generation saw the biggest jump in technology.
And that's the thing. They still do... there's a name for it. Forgive me for not knowing it. It's basically modern-day brain surgery. But now it's done with lasers. And they know where they're going when they're going to do something.
Yeah.
And it's very precise. This was literally, pink. Let's scramble that shit and pull it back out. And however you end up. Twisted.
Man, I can't say it.
Twisted. Why is the floor getting warm?
It's going to be full of flames if I say this, bro. That's Michael J. Fox's new.
Oh, that's so horrible.
I'm only saying it because you always use him as a reference.
I do. He can perform them. He can't do the hammering in, but he can definitely do the scrambling.
Oh my god, that is so fucking bad. That is horrible. That is fucking horrible. we are assholes, bro. All right, so mine were auditions. I'm a fool for like emotional auditions for like AGT, X Factor, all these fucking things. Like, man, if there's one thing being a parent made me is a fucking emotional wreck.
Watching this shit.
Yeah, like a mom, her kid, James Arthur, he had a #1 song on radio. He was like, Mom, I want 200 quid so I can keep my lights on. I'm going to get evicted, blah, blah, blah. And she was like enabling him to be an alcoholic or a drug addict or whatever. And she's like, all right, I'm going to give you the whatever, $400 or whatever it was, pounds, because they're in England.
Yeah.
She goes, but you're auditioning for AGT or Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
All right. And then he goes and wins. And in a 6-week span, he went from being like where he was on the train stations being a busker. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
A busker to fucking an overnight sensation with a #1 song.
Wow.
in like no time. You know what I mean? Like just things like that. Or the blind guy that played the piano, and everybody's crying their eyes out. Like it's so much. I get so tied into that shit.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like a bit. Oh my god, that's such a good song. But that was one of the things I fell down a rabbit. That was last night. I fell down a rabbit hole.
Now,
I must have watched like 30 of them.
And they're addictive because once you get on them,
Yeah,
you're like, wow. Now there's one where I'd say a kid, but probably late teens, early 20s. Definitely special ed type kid who doesn't really speak, but when the fucking music hits, he can sing his ass off, and he's done duets with people.
he's the guy with the piano that I was talking about.
Is that the guy with the piano? Phenomenal.
Yeah.
The old homeless guy. There's the old black homeless guy who was singing all the subways, and dude, he would fucking belt out Unchained Melody.
And then he made it because people would help him out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the stories like that. Do you remember? It was a couple of years ago now, probably about a decade or better. There was a homeless guy who had like the perfect voice,
and then now he's the voiceover for movies.
And
it is Optimus Prime.
He did the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
The guy was like literally homeless.
Yeah, so, and that's the power of the internet. That's good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Somebody catches, oh my god, this guy's got an amazing voice. Yeah, and he's homeless on the side of the street, and people would ask him to say stuff or whatever. Yeah. So auditions was one. Another one was veterans talking about violence in today's society, and it's like a lot of like Navy SEALs and people that seen some really heavy shit.
Yeah,
and they're kind of saying like, "Hey, listen, you guys that you're Antifas and you're this and you're that. You guys that think you do violence right, you have no idea. There's an entire like underbelly of people that the only thing that's preventing them from hunting you is the cops. So the second we remove the police,
you're done.
If you can hunt innocent people, you don't want to know the people that really know how to do it.
Yeah.
Come for you because that's the only thing stopping us because we support the police.
Well, the thing is, you're not going to know they're coming for you. You're just going to be dead.
Yeah, and they're like, you get young kids shooting each other with guns and turning them sideways and this and that, and he's like, you have no idea what will come for you.
Right.
So that was one. Another one was car repairs.
Yeah. Oh, one I got back on this week too was, and I've seen a lot of shorts now on Facebook, on YouTube, and on TikTok, the carpets.
Oh, carpet cleaning.
Now there's one guy, and it's cool because he's actually named the machines.
Oh, he's named the machines.
The machine it actually has like the thing's name. The one was R2 Clean 2.
Oh, that's cool.
Is like the square one, and the round one was something else. And dude, he must have hit this thing. I shit you not, 30 times. And he was
still getting black water.
Still getting black water out of it. Like, what the fuck was this thing used for?
Yeah.
But he got it clean.
Yeah.
And there's the sense of accomplishment when it's done. You're like, I feel good for you.
Well, that's it. That's what all these things are. Is when they're done, you're like, there it is. You see it right to completion. And go ahead.
Eric Sim. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
King of Juco.
Yeah.
Watching a lot of his shit.
I know you were.
He's annoying as fuck because it seems like
But here's the thing.
He curses incessantly, which is not needed.
Right.
And what is the one saying he says over and over again? It's kids say it now. I can't remember. I'm sure it's probably because it's so burned into my brain. I don't want to remember it. Hitting off these $30,000 pitching machines.
But here's the thing. I was just going to say that. And you've talked about this in weeks past.
Yeah.
It's not hard after I took 100 at-bats against it to figure out the timing of it, to then put the camera up and go, here we go, play.
Right.
And now I hit it.
But to think out there's a pitching machine to say, I want to know what it's like to bat against Garrett Cole.
Right, but why would major league teams not have this?
They must. They have to.
Right. Like, can you imagine if you can duplicate R.A. Dickey?
Oh, that's the one. And I bet you that's the one pitch you can't throw. How do you eject the ball but not put any
I remember
spin on it?
What was it? The Yankees brought in Osanio to throw for Wakefield.
Yep.
And Aaron Boone obviously took the class.
Sure did.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
that's how you used to do it. But now if you can just one time.
Right. He did a funny one though. They did Rick Wild and Vaughn.
Oh, really?
So they had it gassed up to throw like 103.
Yep.
Either down the middle, way left, or way right.
Oh.
And the guy wasn't telling him what was coming. So he's in the box, he's ready, and the first pitch goes behind his head by about a foot. He's like, oh my God, my asshole's closed.
Well, that changes the entire at bat.
Right.
Because you're not getting in it after that.
Right.
You know you're not. You're just not happening.
And you take anybody with any skill level, like you played baseball at a much higher skill level than I did. If you got into a batting cage, even now, give you a bat, set it to 85 miles an hour.
Oh, I can go in a pro cage and hit either side of the plate. Now, fat, out of shape.
Right.
It'd probably take me about one round through. I'd bunt like 2 or 3 times. I'd probably tip 2 or 3, and then once I got on it, I'd be on it.
Right. You can hit that fastball.
Yeah. Yep.
It's when that ball is coming at you at 101 and taking a sharp fucking dive to your feet.
Yeah, where the bottom drops out of it. Or,
completely.
I'd love to see Jack McDowell's splitter.
Oh, be sick.
Can you send that into him?
I think I can.
Send that into him.
I'll send it to him.
And then we'll have to tag McDowell.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And then just so we can get off of this, at the very end, I've been watching a little bit of Flat Earth.
Yeah.
I'm kind of.
Well, that's a perfect guest for us. If
I
you
know.
want to talk about
I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying, but one thing that they've 100% got me remotely sold on.
Okay.
We're spinning at an outrageous rate.
Right.
And we're a ball, and we're a sphere, and we're spinning.
Okay.
But the stars don't move. Ever. The North Star is always in the north.
Right.
So that star that's way the fuck out, millions of miles away, is spinning with us at the same time?
No. We're spinning it stationary.
How's it always stay north?
Because it's north. It's there.
Take a baseball and put a dot over it.
Right.
It's going to move. Or the Milky Way. Just use it with the Milky Way. It's not in the left part of the sky. It's always, you know what I mean? Like every night you can go, it's right there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
Maybe the North Star was the wrong point, but that was the one thing where you just kind of like.
My question to him has always been, we're talking about Brandon.
Yeah. I always go, how can you go east and west and end up at the same spot?
Right. And he says, how do you actually know what you're doing when you're in the air? You really don't.
Yeah, I know. There's always a loophole and a whatever, and I get it, but there's certain parts where I'm like,
now why? Now this is another thing that is weird. There's a certain level as you're going. I don't know if it's north and south, but if you're going to Antarctica, if you go to a certain point and you go past that, they'll kill you.
Yeah, why would they do that?
Why? What's there?
Yeah.
At the end?
Yeah.
Are we the Truman Show?
I don't know, dude. It's a little too deep for us.
It is. It is. It's crazy.
Right. Or is it like, so a lot of these flat, and this is what they say on these flat earth things. They say I'm trying to do it on camera. So instead of being a sphere this way, they think we're round this way.
With a dome over us.
Like a semi-sphere, right?
Yeah.
So they say Antarctica really is an ice shelf that we're in the middle.
Yeah.
And it goes out to Antarctica as an ice shelf that goes around the edge.
Right.
And like you say, if you get through where they kill you, if you get through there, that's where this whole other part of our world is. But it's like, you're not getting through there. You know what I mean? Like,
if you look at early maps, they're really a circle with everything on top of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't go in a full sphere. They didn't introduce that until school.
Until NASA went up in the air.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you've had 1,000 fucking astronauts come. I say 1,000, but enough to make you think, man, is that all bullshit?
Well, because they say some weird shit sometimes.
Like, how come they could go to the moon in the 60s?
But not no more.
Why is that?
I don't know, man. It's one of those things you start getting on it and you're like, what the fuck? Like you go down a rabbit hole.
There's enough
and
there.
you fall. Right.
There's enough
there to
make
put
you
questions.
say, maybe.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm like, man, I don't want to be lumped in with these assholes. So that was my rabbit hole for the week. Now, I do have a
Scurv of the week.
Sal Candulo. No. He's always the scurv of the week. No, the scurv of the week this week, California. California passed a law saying there will be no more gasoline vehicles by 2030 or 2035, I believe. And 2 days later, told everybody with an electric car to please not charge your cars for the next day, which turned into a week, because it's taxing the electric grid in California.
Go fuck yourself.
And along the same lines, there's people that have these smart thermostats that the thermostat company went into their house, not into their house, but into their thermostat remotely and locked them at 78 degrees because it was to save energy.
I'll kill somebody.
I'd just rip it off the wall.
Yes.
I'd rip it off the wall and hotwire so it just ran AC all day.
All day. Yeah,
That's
I'm not
it.
home.
Yeah, don't care.
58.
Yep. Rocky will be warming up in the fucking... He'll be getting loose for the next fight in my kitchen when I come home. Yep. They're my scurv of the week. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah, no, you can't.
So if you're trying to outlaw oil and this and that, and then say solar, look what happened in Texas when they had the ice storm last winter.
Sure.
And because it's all on that grid with wind, the turbines froze, and the fucking solar, because they got an ice storm or snowstorm,
right,
it blanketed it. It wasn't producing the energy. Everybody, the entire state of Texas froze. Their pipes broke, everything.
Here's my question, too. If you're the governor of California, are you giving me the $65,000 to go out and buy Tesla?
Right.
Because I have a $18,000 Nissan that runs just fine.
Well, right, and it's not any of those cars, the Volt, whatever, they cost more money.
Sure they do.
And then you want me to plug it in, but then you say, "Oh, we're taxing the grid, the power grid, too much."
Right. Can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both ways.
If you want to go dual fuel, and give people the option,
like that's how the Prius was, up to 30 miles an hour. You run off that, but it's recharging the battery
as it goes.
And then once you get above 30, it goes from like golf cart to car.
And I think I may have talked about this with you. Why can't you put things in the wheels that recharge your electric car?
Right. I'm sure you could, like an alternator that was... Right. Yeah. I'm sure you could, but...
So...
but then they're not making money because you're not buying more batteries and more...
Yep. And I'm not going to... This isn't Scurv of the Week, but this is what I said to you last night. Copycat or coincidence?
A lot of our shit's ending up places.
Strange.
And we're small enough that people wouldn't really recognize.
But big enough to realize.
But big enough that we do this on 1 week, and the next week it comes out on a much bigger show.
Right.
We do this, and it comes out on a much bigger show.
Right.
It's just too coincidental.
Yeah, that's what
a few times.
Dave, if you're listening, if you watch, if you see us for 5 minutes.
Well, not just Dave. Anybody else.
I say Dave or anybody else. Reach out. We would love to collaborate or maybe be part of your network. We're here. We got the brains for it. Obviously you like what we do because you're using our shit.
You saw it, right?
Right.
You saw it. I wasn't mistaken.
No, not even close.
It came right verbatim. What we already did for college football came out yesterday.
I'm saying I clue everybody in. Last week we did our top 5.
And we did top 5.
Was college entrances and or traditions.
And some of how it was spoken and broken down.
Yes.
And it came out on the show, their college preview show.
Right.
And I get it. You don't copyright your thoughts like that, but it's just funny how it broke down exactly how we broke it down.
How crazy questions started popping up everywhere.
Right. All of a sudden, yeah. Crazy. Yeah, it's weird shit.
So
it's weird shit that starts coming out.
But
Yeah.
We're at the century mark, man. That's wild.
Yeah. And you said that, you wanted to relive the last 100, just kind of go through it. Some of my thoughts I just wrote down. My favorite moments, the toe seating.
Oh my god, so bad.
That was on a fucking absolute whim, just
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
and sparked a bunch more after that.
100%. Ronnie Gulick had a fucking candy, and I'm like, give me a piece of that. I know exactly what I'm doing today. And then you're like, if that's, and you knew, and I had no idea what that was ever called. I knew nothing about it, but you knew. I'm like, just have a piece of that. And you're like, if this is the fucking toe of Satan, I don't want it. I'm like, don't be a pussy. And of course, I guilted you into it. And then you're like, and then that turned into the blood of Satan. That turned into the little nitro, the gummy bear.
Right.
And then one of my other favorite things when you ate the larvas from Ava DeSico.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever laughed as hard as I laughed that day on this episode. It was when I tell you, you're like, what should I do? I go, like a handful, thinking like 2 or 3. And you turn the box and the entire box shot down your throat. And I started fucking belly laughing. I was laughing so hard, I turned the recording off. I was recording you do it. And then you coughed. And they came out and it looked like dry ramen noodles came out
so
of everywhere. And you're like, eh. That was one of my favorites. Kendo stick, the kendo stick with goo, with baby gooey.
Yes.
Scott, our security guy, rest in peace.
Yes, sir.
When we asked him, have you ever been, he's like, have you ever gone through a table? And he's like, yeah. I go, have you ever been hit with a kendo stick? No. What? Wait, why am I seeing a kendo stick now? His asshole slammed shut. That'll forever be in like one of my best memories of this show, whatever it lives on.
So fun. Bushwhacker Luke.
Yeah, just coming up and cutting a promo on us.
Yep.
The wisdom of Ed Hearn.
Yes, very much so. And to know what he's gone through since then and still pushing along, man.
Where he says, you can count the seeds in one apple, but you can never count the apples in one seed. It's fucking amazing, dude.
Right.
Like that is one of the wildest, most clear fucking holy shit things that I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And it's right. Like you plant the seed in some, but you don't know what can grow from that. Right. So, testing our limits. We started, you heard our first audio.
Yeah.
We started there and we had a radio station at one point. We've had, now we're on video. We've done live Super Bowl shows where we knew nothing.
The food reviews. Just what we're getting there where people see it and they understand. They're like, hey, there's them guys. For fuck's sake, we had people in Ireland doing food reviews and beer reviews for us. Yeah, that's
that's what's crazy.
The first things that came out of the shows, the first time we saw our show in the Apple Top 200.
Yes.
The first time, dude, when we got the confirmation emails from Apple and Google and iHeart that we were going to be broadcast on their platform.
Yeah, we're like, holy shit. Remember day one, we're next to Jocko Willink and Joe Rogan?
Yes.
We're like, what?
How did this happen?
Right. Like shows you should listen to. Yeah. Outlaw Blitz, Joe Rogan, Jocko Willink. We're like, holy shit. Like just that quick. To France. We got somebody from... I remember the early days where we'd huddle around the computer and we'd look.
Where are we?
Who do you know in New York City, man? Like it started local. Then it was like New York City. Then it was like, do you know somebody in Pennsylvania? Oh, yeah. There's Myrtle Beach or whatever. And then
California.
Then all of a sudden, France.
Yeah.
We're like, France? Where'd that come from? We're in another country now.
Yeah.
To we were in 10 countries. To now it's 65 and running.
And in the top 200 of Denmark weeks on end now.
We've been in the top 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've lived in the top 1%. Top 1%
right.
of all podcasts for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
There's 2.55 million podcasts.
We're consistently
If
in the
you're,
top 1,000.
yeah,
Consistently.
and you're like, what? Like when you think about it, the new shows that spun off of us,
Right.
Dare and then but False Confidence.
Yeah, False Confidence killing it.
You know what I mean? Dropping the Hammer. It's just these different things that spun off. Like we got new shows that spun off.
Yeah.
The new countries, and here's one that thinking back, microphones.
Oh my God.
We've had to have 600 microphones.
We've tried a bunch.
You have the B one there. I know you're going to get the new B one. I just know you are.
Eventually.
I went to the smaller one. I have the bigger one.
Right.
But this is just lower profile, especially now we're on video.
Yeah.
Yeah, we messed with everything. The Mackie mics were a step up from, we started with lapel mics.
Right.
And then we went to, the little bit bigger, better,
Rockville, I think.
Rockville.
Yeah.
And then we went on to the Mackie mics.
Yeah.
For Mackie, we went to these.
What are they? Sure. Not
yeah,
sure.
they're a spin-off of Shure. I don't even know what they are. And then you got it's the Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And I got the Rodecaster mic.
Yep. Guests in-house, on the phone.
Right, figuring that stuff out too.
Right.
Like where you didn't know it, but we had to learn it. Like the first phone interview, I'm like, what the fuck? How? And the way I did it, it wasn't traditional. It wasn't like you just plug the phone. Like I had to plug the phone in, hot wired over here and put it into the old board just to figure out how to do it.
The fact that to this day, within the last 2 weeks, you can send Stephen Piercy a text.
Yeah, and he messages me back. Yeah.
I messaged Ed Hearn when I was in Myrtle last year.
Right.
Because there was a
kid
down there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So.
But the biggest thing is, for me, is just talking with my buddy every week.
Yeah, man.
It clears our brains. It empties out 100. And people say you sit down, eventually you just stop talking. I don't see it that way.
No.
There's always room. And then just think, since we started, we've had graduations, weddings, and family moments.
Yeah. And people just know, I don't know, it's become a part of our everyday lives now.
Yeah.
It really has. It's ingrained.
It just dawned on me now. You go to an airport and somebody's like, "Hey, I listen to that show," and you're like, "I am that show."
Yep. It's pretty fucking cool, man.
Now, where do you see in the next 100?
Next 100?
And I mean, not like your wish. Like, what do you see? Where do you see it?
I see more steady growth, and that's the one thing that I think we can be proud of.
Our trajectory
is
consistently going up.
I want to see in the next 100. I want to see more mainstream recognition.
Yeah, I'd like to see it pick up a little bit.
Yeah.
One thing you do a good job of it, I don't do as good of a job of it, is we are a brand. Like, I think we need to link up with a T-shirt creator.
Yeah.
And we should always have our gear on.
Right.
Like, because we're promoting us. Like, you're wearing Outlaw stuff today.
Always.
I mean, you can't see. I love this company, Valor 12.
Yep.
But I should have more Outlaw stuff on. But it's just a point that we can't find people to work with us to do it.
Right. In the car. Listen, I've had our original stickers. You pull up the quick check. Fuck it, man. People were putting their stickers out. I put our stickers out.
Yeah, yeah.
And then somebody sent you a picture of our sticker.
Yeah.
And then saw the one night.
Yeah. Oh my God, I found this, and not there in other places.
Right.
It's wild just to where we've been. Or when people go, "Aren't you them guys that do the reviews?" Like, so they're gaining legs.
I think one of my most fun nights of I think of recognition was the second Super Bowl party. We packed that place, and everybody had a blast. They left there talking about it, how much fun they had, how many new listeners we grabbed that night.
Yeah.
And
I never listened to a podcast in my life, and how
that has created so many more listeners.
Right.
So people that want to contribute, and again, thank you to guys like Kent, Lurch, my dad, Cougar, Zach, Sedlak, the ratings killer.
Yeah. Yeah, well, just all these guys. When we ask them for something, they
do
give
it
to us.
They do it.
Or the early days when I did. Remember, I just fucking just don't. Remember when I had the like remote? We were going to go to the streets. We were going to go ask the streets, and I asked the dudes in the locker room. That's what spun the crazy questions to a different direction.
Yeah.
And it was like Townsy and Hughes and DMAC and all them. And that's it. Like everybody's pretty good sports about it, which is pretty cool, you know.
Yep, and we've got our local band of idiots that follow us.
Yeah.
Every week or waiting for the next episode.
But then you always learn that there's somebody else that you didn't know.
Right, like Derek McDonald. That's his ride into work. Looks forward to his Thursdays.
Did you see his video of him playing the piano this week?
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
He is phenomenal.
He needs to come on here and play.
Yeah, he does. Jimmy Williams, same way.
Yeah.
Midnight hits, and he's actually gotten to the point where he'll stay out in his truck
and listen
because he was carrying it inside listening and waking his wife up because he's fucking laughing.
Yeah.
So our dedicated fans, thank you to everybody.
Oh, Big Gay Sal.
Yeah.
Big Gay Sal. We always get a text when we hit on something
Absolutely. Remember the story last week about the Denver Broncos?
Yeah, it was his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was glad. I couldn't remember where.
And he knew who Coach Klein was right away.
Mr. Coach Klein?
Yep. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. 100, bud. We made 100 episodes in.
Yes, we did.
I mean, 100 episodes, and then 35 interviews. So
all awesome interviews.
Yeah, great. And we got it, and that's something I'd like to see more of. I'd like to see 2 a month.
I would love to see 2 a month. I'm going to start pounding TikTok more and more. It's really trying to get. You can send messages to the TikTok inboxes. A lot of them read them, a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
It's you got to try to narrow through the social media ways to find, okay, how can I really get to this person and get them on the show?
Right, yep.
So I got a few I'm working on now. Hopefully something pans out soon. But in the meantime,
and Troy Aikman, if you're listening.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Lisa Marie.
Please.
Yeah. You started leaning that way, you're like out of the camera, bro.
Any Elvis?
That's better.
Anybody in Elvis's clique?
Yeah.
There's only a few
Tom
left.
Parker's grandson or something?
Fuck him.
Whoa.
Okay, I'd probably like it.
So. Yeah. No, I mean, good 100th episode.
Yes, sir. What are you laughing at?
We do have to do one more thing before
Presto
we go.
hot dog?
We do have to do one more thing. Hold on, I gotta minimize that. And you are going to have to pretend you can see this. There's this guy that threw out a pitch at the Hudson Valley Renegades, and he's a big fella, but the catcher's in front of the man. Oh, what a rag arm! He's lucky. He's absolutely lucky that the mascot didn't rip one off his forehead. He's in front of the mound by like 10 feet, and the catcher's in the grass almost, and total rag arm lob to the plate. I'm going to play that one more time again for everybody to see. And he just throws an absolute moon ball, and he's lucky that the raccoon here doesn't just smoke one off his forehead.
Listen, big shout out to Chris for that. He was happy, man.
That's really awesome.
A real cool moment for him. We got to be on the field with the Gades, and it was cool. Cool. That is cool.
All right, bud, take us home. We've been out. This is a long one. It's been an hour and a half.
All right. For G-Mac and Winnie, thanks for the first 100. Here's to the next 100. This has been the Outlaw Blitz podcast, and as always, take it deep.